I think historically the Canadian government has been very open to immigration coming into Canada. And it dates back to Pierre Elliott Trudeau having an open immigration policy back in the 70s. So I know for myself personally, my parents came into this country because of Pierre Elliott Trudeau and saw the potential in terms of them improving their lives back then. So I think it's just historically been something that is part of the Canadian heritage, is just being open to other cultures coming into Canada.
I think the key challenge as a global mobility professional in the UK is definitely the constantly changing immigration laws, because when it comes to UK, talent is a big question mark, and the constantly changing immigration laws is not making it easy for us to kind of find the right talent for the right place. The good thing is, with these challenges, we also have a great opportunity of interest to UK. People are interested to come here and work in UK, so we kind of balance that challenge with that benefit.
From a business point of view, global mobility is moving its workforce across borders to achieve organizational goals and also to drive performance growth and to leverage the diverse pool that is available on a global scale.
I think the U.S. is an attractive destination, because I think for a lot of employees, they see coming to the U.S. as well. They're coming to corporate, right? There's a lot of corporate headquarters here. So, the U.S. allows them that exposure to working closer to the parent company or to where the corporate headquarters is located. I think also from a destination perspective, there's a lot of opportunity within the U.S. for the individual employee as well as their families, both from an educational perspective, from a recreational perspective. I think the U.S. is, depending on where you go, New York is very different from California, so there's a lot of variety within where you go within the U.S. as well.
So I would say that obviously a new company that's establishing themselves in the U.S. is going to want to have a really strong presence, and they're going to want to bring the best talent in. So I believe that mobility has a key role to play in bringing that talent together. And I know in the current environment that we're in, and maybe even going forward, there's going to be a lot more remote working, but there's something to be said about being face-to-face and being able to collaborate and innovate. And I love we call it serendipitous interactions that happen that you might not expect. So I think mobility is key as some company might be building out in the US. Like, how do they bring all that talent together? How do they create that sense of culture and being, and how do they create that innovation for whatever product it is or service that they're offering?
I think the US is popular from a headquarters perspective just because of the talent. There is a lot of really great talent in the US. You find that even foreign nationals from India, from China, from Europe want to come to the US and learn at our universities. So the talent pipelines, there's just a lot of really great talent to choose from.
I think the United States is attractive to global mobility programs because there's a lot of great companies that are headquartered here or have a large presence here. And so a lot of revenue is generated in the United States. All things considered, there's a pretty good, education system, and I think it really goes back to the American dream for a lot of individuals. I think there's an influx of immigration into the country for good reason. And so it creates a nice opportunity for individuals or later their dependents who will be possibly growing up in the United States down the road.
I am seeing that there is a lot of, we have quite a few employees that reach out and are requesting, they'll apply for a job that's located in the US, for example, or Canada, and really wanting to try to get an opportunity to come here because the world is changing. And I think people are trying to find, okay, what is a good opportunity for me as an individual? So I think the interest has increased, I would say, from a personal perspective with people. from the business side, I would say, again, it depends on the business, it depends on the company and what those needs are, the talent that they're looking for.
So what makes the United States attractive? I think the fact that there are so many states. I mean, the United States in general says it all. And there's so many different aspects of the United States. So an individual may come to an assignment in New York, for example, but just by being in New York, they're obviously going to be exposed to New York itself and the different cultures within New York. But then they'll also have the opportunity to travel and explore the United States in general. So whether it's the Midwest, the West Coast, I think the United States provides opportunities all over the United States, regardless of where an individual may be on an assignment or may relocate to. And they're going to share these different U.S. experiences that they can, of course, take back home with them. But also, it's just the overall exposure that they may not have somewhere else. You know, the United States in general, yes, it's its own country, but within the United States, the different states also have something different to offer. And I think it's worthwhile for employees that are on an assignment to explore the country that they're in. And in this case, the different states within the United States, just to see what it all has to offer while they're here on assignment or as a transferee.
Key challenges, I think, is always our proximity to the rest of the world. Our geographical footprint and the big pool of water around us is always a challenge. It's a psychological challenge, I think, for many people to kind of overcome, not to mention the spiders and the snakes that I know you good folk in the UK hate terribly. But yeah, I think some of the challenges on a mobility front is probably yet to be played out. We're seeing a little bit of change in the way that our tax office is navigating and understanding and evolving the legislation here.